Your RV's tires are its foundation. They have to be cared for and protected if you want a smooth, safe journey. But let's be honest, tire blowouts are just an unfortunate reality of RV life, so it's always good to know how to change your tire on a travel trailer. This one's obviously fine outside of being a little dirty, but we're gonna change it anyway. First thing we wanna do is place wheel chocks on both sides of the tire that'll remain on the ground, the good tire. And then we'll need a bottle jack. Now, you want to place the jack under the axle on the side you're changing and as close to the spring mount as possible. Then you'll carefully raise the unit just a little bit so you know it won't sink or tip. Next, we want to break the lug nuts loose before the tire is off the ground. We have a few different options. You can either get a telescopic lug wrench like this so you have some leverage, or you can just use your good old-fashioned socket with a breaker bar. Once the lug nuts are loose, it's time to raise the trailer using the bottle jack until there's going to be daylight underneath the tire. You're going to want roughly 2 inches or so we have enough clearance for the next step. And that next step is to place a jack stand under the axle as close as we can to the bottle jack before lowering the jack gently until the axle rests on that jack stand. You want to verify that you can still see daylight under the tire as well. You see, bottle jacks are for lifting, jack stands are for working. Preferably, the bottle jack can be left in place if it isn't in the way, but if it is, you can easily remove it and set it back up later. Now, if you don't have a jack stand, you can technically put down your stabilizer jacks, but only to stabilize the unit, not to lift it. And the bottle jack has to be left in place for this method. For safety reasons, I highly suggest jack stands, but unfortunately, we're not always prepared when disaster strikes. Next, we'll simply remove the lug nuts, swap out the tire, and then reinstall the lug nuts finger tight on the new tire. With the lug nuts finger tight, now we'll just want to lift the axle with the bottle jack, enough to remove the jack stand, and then lower it down until the tire touches the ground. You still want it to be supported by the jack, but you want to make sure the tire is on the ground so we can finish torquing up these lug nuts. Now, we'll want to tighten the lugs in a star pattern using a torque wrench, and we'll do it in 3 different stages. First 20 to 30 foot-pounds, then 50 to 60, and lastly somewhere around 90 to 120 foot-pounds. Now, I understand that not all of us have or carry a torque wrench with us, and that's okay. What you want to do in that case is tighten these up as much as possible until you can bring it into a shop or take it home so you can get your lug nuts properly torqued. With the lugs properly tightened, you should fully retract and remove the bottle jack and then the chocks. Lastly, you'll want to be sure to retorque as required by the manufacturer just to ensure the lugs don't vibrate loose. As a general rule of thumb, you're usually looking somewhere between 25, 50, and 100 miles. And if you have a flat or a blown tire on a double axle, it'll essentially be the same process. We want to make sure that we jack up the tire, obviously, that we're going to be taking off, and with most systems, unless it's a torsion axle, your other tire will still be on the ground, but as always, make sure we're using safety and chalk up our wheels. As a tip, on both single and double axle trailers, it's smart to acquire a new tire as soon as possible so your spare can return to being what it's designed for, an emergency option. We have a written tutorial, and I'll drop a link in the description, that has the tire sizing, which is information you'll need when calling around to locate a compatible replacement. And speaking of emergencies, if in the event of a blowout, you'd rather just, I don't know, say kick back and relax and let someone else take care of it, then you'll want to check out Good Sam Roadside Assistance. It's a great program, and it's designed specifically for RVers to help you overcome tire blowouts or really any other roadside issues so you can get back to your vacation without lifting a finger. Well, except to dial the Good Sam Roadside Assistance phone number, you'll probably have to use your fingers for that, I suppose. If you found this video helpful, be sure to subscribe, and if you want to know how to maintain your tires while in storage, then check out this next video. Thanks again for watching. I'm Ian Baker, and until next time, we'll see ya.